Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. We've got some prep baseball talk here again today with my good buddies Matt Shadow, Kevin Mulder. Guys, we ready for the state playoffs?
Ready. We're into it. This is great. This is a lot of fun. We had a great round of districts last week, and if we can get the rain to turn off, we're going to have a heck of a day on Thursday for our smaller schools, and then Saturday is the big day for the big boys.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to start right off the bat here. Class 4. We've been talking about Kennett, Logan Rogersville, Southern Boone, even John Burroughs all season. They have made their way into the quarterfinals in Class 4. Not too much of a surprise. And honestly, I mean, I think it's shaping up as we were talking just before we started. Kennett, Logan Rogersville, great matchup.
That's a good semifinal matchup. Kevin's been talking about those two all season. But that'll be, that's a semifinal game.
Yes.
Assuming they win.
I've been trumpeting Kennett all year, but I will say they have a tough quarterfinal matchup on the mound. They're going to run into Wyatt Brown, a pitcher that we brought with us to the for Team Missouri to the future games at Afton. I still like Kennett. I think they're just going to be too much as a total team there, but they're going to have to get by a legit D1 arm to do it. So that will be interesting, and but that one will. That's the 4A game that I kind of most interested in seeing in the quarterfinals.
I think that's so interesting how deep baseball is here in the state of Missouri. You're in Class 4, and there's Class 5 and 6, and you've got a D1 arm in a quarterfinal game. You know, these matchups, that's big-time baseball at that level.
Well, I mean, there's good players everywhere.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't pick where you go to school.
St. Elizabeth's in 1A has a right-hander committed to Mizzou. So you can imagine what he does to his competition at the 1A level.
It's tough, man. That Southern Boone John Burroughs game is going to be really good as well. John Burroughs took care of St. Charles West in their first round.
That was an old-fashioned shootout. That's a football score.
Yeah.
14-8.
Yep. Got a touchdown and a safety. Or
2 field goals and a safety.
There you go. I like that better. There's still Oak Grove there. Afton, like you said, we talked about. Excelsior Springs, Savannah. I don't know much about them. I saw Oak Grove. I think Oak Grove gets to the Final Four out of that, unless Excelsior Springs and Savannah, Marshall. Do you know much about them, Kevin?
Savannah's been in my small school on deck most of the year. I don't know a ton about their roster, but they have had a solid year. So that bottom part will be interesting. But Southern Boone has been an absolute machine. And I favor them heavily in the bottom part of that bracket. John Burroughs had a great year. Also had a really strong team. And up top, we've kind of been talking about Logan Rogersville and Kennett all season long. So that's going to be a semifinal matchup if it happens. That's going to be a real fun one.
Very good, very good. So Class 4 shaping up really good. Going to be some good baseball there. Class 5 is starting on Saturday afternoon. Festus was kind of the last one to punch their ticket. Winning against, I believe it was Windsor and Imperial there. Lutheran South, their matchup there. Then you got Helios Catholic and Willard, which I think is going to be a really good ball game there. Helios Catholic has had a good season. Thoughts on that one, guys?
Yeah, they have had a great year. I really like the Willard team. That's your defending 5A state champs. They're battle tested. They could easily play up at the 6A level. One of the strong teams out of the southwest part of Missouri in the Springfield area. That Willard team is talented, and if I had to just pick of the 8 teams left, that would be my pick to capture the 5A state tournament. So I would take Willard in that game versus Elias.
And Matt, just in the bottom bracket there, I think the big one, Parkway Central for Zumwalt East in this area. Thoughts on that one, man?
Kevin's been pretty high on Parkway Central all year, which he should be because they're a very good team. I mean, Webb City, Platte County. Kevin knows more about those two teams than I do, but the Parkway Central Zumwalt East matchup, it's going to be a good matchup. Any matchup at this point is a good matchup, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, can East put up some runs against Parkway Central?
I think
Parkway Central they're in a good spot.
I agree. They're a good baseball team.
That's going to be a fun game. To me, that might be the most entertaining game of the quarterfinals that I'd want to see. The Central versus East. That's two good teams. They've been doing it all year. We've seen both of them. I know we had the game of the week with Zumwalt East, and so that's going to be a fun one. I think that's a coin toss game. Both two good teams. I could see it going either way. I like. Parkway Central's kind of been the it team this spring. They've found ways to get it done. Zumwalt East has had a great year though, and coming through a tough district. So they're battle tested. That's gonna be a fun game on Saturday.
I mean, we picked St. Dominic to beat Zumwalt East. So Zumwalt East obviously proved us wrong. But Parkway Central had to beat a good Chaminade team in a shootout in their district championships, and they had to beat Rockwood Summit and my CDS. So it's not like they had an easy trip to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
and I must give a shout out here to Jackson Carter's grandma, who was wondering why we picked St. Dominic, and Sherry Carter. Shout out. I'm going to stick with East on this one, so there we go. We'll see what happens. Maybe I should do the reverse, though.
Hold on. You didn't pick East to win.
No, I didn't.
And now you're picking them to beat Parkway Central. So now when they don't win, she's going to call you and say, why did you pick them? Because you picked them and they lost.
I know. I'm not going to win either way.
If you don't pick them and they win, then she's going to call and yell at you for not picking them.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So
either way.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, buddy.
Jackson Carter's had a great year, and Miss Sherry, your grandson is the fastest player in the state of Missouri, so he's a heck of a player and super fun to watch. And if it helps out the Zumwalt East fans, I will pick Parkway Central in this game and continue your guys' good fortune here. I will pick against them to fuel their fire and not curse the team by picking them.
There you go. I'll tell you what I saw. Justin and I were out at the semifinal. They had to play it on 2 different days, and East come out, and it's they hadn't swung the bats real well recently, and that they were 500 at the end of the season, but they were facing Nate Kemp on that first day, and he can throw the baseball. I hadn't seen Nate Kemp before, but he's really good. But East bats were awake. They were driving the baseball. They were getting in play, getting on base. They got out to a 4-1 lead, and then the rain came. And I was like, oh, no, that does not bode well. Because usually, you get those swings. But the next day, the kid on the mound, though, the depth, East had lost Justin Smith, but they got Lucas McGill, Brendan Jackson, and then the other young man that pitched out of the bullpen. Oh, and it's going to be terrible. No, the other young man, Gibson. Gibson come in, pitched very well. And it's first time I got to see Abishan came in and closed it out. And he looked really good on the mound, finished that game. And I think Abishan at the back of that, senior leadership there, stabilize that, come in and really shut the door on St. Dominic. And not only that, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 in the lineup with Abishan. And so they looked really good. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a really good ball game, and we'll see who wins. I think they're evenly matched at this point. That's my thoughts. Webb City.
Way to make sure you covered your bases on that so she doesn't hunt you down. Good job.
Love that, right? Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that
problem.
one. And to all the East fans, hey, we're
Keep
looking
digging
at
your
it.
hole deeper, buddy.
I
Keep
know.
going. Keep
Webb
going.
City.
Did Matt come down on a side on this game?
I don't know. Who'd you pick, bud?
Parkway Central, Zumwalt East?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't pick East to win the district.
No, you didn't. So
I'm not going to pick them to win this game.
okay. All right. Fair enough. That's fair.
Because
point.
then if I pick them, then they're going to come at me. Well, you shouldn't have picked them. So I'm not picking them.
He's not going to do it. Let's move on to Class 6. Let's get out of that. This is the big one here. Lindbergh is sitting atop there, and Kevin's got a big grin on his face. See? Because he had said this the whole time. Lindbergh, don't have the record, but they got the lineup that's there. It's and voila, here they are.
They were in my preseason top 10 rankings. I'd have to go back and look, but I think I had them ranked 5th or 6th in the state to start the season. They have really good pitching depth. They have a true ace in Dane Bourne, the junior heading to Tennessee. Ethan Smith has had a huge year. The senior lefty going to Mo Southern, and then Drew Polite, the senior third baseman / pitcher going to Dyersburg State. Cliff Polite's oldest boy for Cardinal fans. They have some real nice depth. Roos hitting the middle lineup, going to Jeffco. Eli Melton going to Illinois, Eastern Illinois. There was no reason, or there was every reason for them to have a good year. They sputtered a little bit. It happens, but in the postseason they found their groove. They came through a tough district. They beat Jackson, who was one of my favorite teams in a good game. And then they beat the Sackman team that had a gaudy win-loss record, with a good arm. Gavin Johnson going to SEMO. They were able to beat him in a pretty soundly. So it was a solid district, and now they get a Marquette matchup. And Marquette, I tip of the cap to Coach Myers at Marquette. Coach Meyer at Marquette. That's the coaching job of the spring, in my opinion. He lost two of the best hitters in the state. Mason Breidenbach, senior, going to Bradley University, and Jack Holubowski, junior, going to Mizzou. Mason had a knee injury before the season started. Jack played only a handful of games and separated his shoulder. He'll be back this summer. But that would have been the best 2-3 or 3-4 in the state, arguably. And they found a way to overcome it and run through a pretty tough district and pull some upsets. And so tip of the cap to that Marquette ball club.
I want to backtrack. Is it Luke Melton or Eli Melton? I think it's
Luke Melton. Sorry.
Luke.
It's Luke Melton. I apologize.
Okay. After what
Sorry,
he's been doing, we don't need any more hate mail, Kevin. Let's leave it with Brian. All right? Let Brian get all the hate mail. All right? Backtrack. Luke.
I got broad shoulders.
Luke Melton, good catcher. Going to Eastern Illinois.
Yeah.
Blue Springs South. Kevin has made me get on this bandwagon because I am a pitching guy when it comes to teams.
I picked him too, baby.
And they didn't give up a run in their district.
No.
That team has some arms. They've got a good arm that Coach P talks about in Tommy Laporte because he saw them. But, I mean, they won 6-0, 6-0, 2-0 against a good Rockbridge team in the district championship that prior scored 6, then 12. I mean, they had 18 runs in 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Kickapoo has its work cut out for them, I think, in that game specifically. Kickapoo, obviously, good team. They won their district. I think that's a tough matchup for them. Kevin may not agree with me, but I just think when you have one game, and then you've got plenty of days off. So Blue Springs South can roll out dude
yes,
in one
they
game.
Can.
Not that they need it, but I mean, I think if you're Kickapoo in this game, you need to try to not give up more than 2 runs. I think if you give up more than 2, I think you're done.
Let me ask you this too, guys. Of these 2 teams, and Kickapoo's really good, no slouch team here, but I think Blue Springs played better competition. Yes, no?
In the district or
I
in
might
general?
push back on that a little bit.
Okay.
Kickapoo really challenged themselves out of state. They went and played some really good Oklahoma teams in Oklahoma and came away with wins. Our Oklahoma guy actually called me about it. Kickapoo's a really strong team. The difference between the two, and I'll side with Matt here, and it's why I picked Blue Springs in districts. I actually picked Kickapoo in their district as well.
But who's counting?
Blue Springs has the star power.
You got them all right.
Blue Springs has the star power, in particular on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
They can run some dudes at you on the mound, and if they get to Lepore, they got Division I arm, Division I arm, Division I arm. So I like them in that ball game. Kickapoo's a really strong team. It wouldn't shock me to see them advance at all. You get to this point, everyone's going to be good, but I do favor Blue Springs South in this one as well.
So let's look at the bottom of this bracket. And first I want to go down because we'll save our local stuff. But Raymore Peculiar, who we understand you've talked about, they got the big-time arms, the 4 Division I arms, against who you believe, Kevin, will be the state champ this year, Liberty North. But this is a test right here for this squad coming right into it. You got to beat a Division I arm.
Well, Raymore only gave up 2 runs in their district.
Right.
They both have to be Division I arm to win this game, so they're on even footing.
There you go. So this isn't just a, Liberty is not going to, again, we're in this thing. Raymore Peculiar can win this game, right?
Well, anybody can win any game.
I agree.
I think the difference in this one is the lineup of Liberty North. Because they could swing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with is Raymore's lineup. It's good,
Matt,
but
it's
it's not Liberty North's lineup.
No, Liberty North's lineup is probably the strongest left in the state. The only lineup that I would compare Liberty North to in our state is CBC's lineup. Those would be, in my opinion, your top 2 offenses in the state. Complete lineup, full of Division I hitters and good JUCO or D2 bats. They're running out kids that are going to be playing college baseball, pretty much top to bottom there. So that's I love this Liberty North team, and I, truth be told, I picked Liberty to beat them in districts. But I love the Liberty team. I love the Liberty North team. I didn't think Liberty North would be able to beat Liberty 3 times. And they found a way. I don't want to say they beat Milbrandt because they didn't. They found a way to survive Milbrandt, and they got the walk. They were down 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Milbrandt came out of the game, and Liberty North found a way to score 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th for a walk-off winner. So great game. A lot of suspense and high-end talent on both ways, back-and-forth ball game. And Liberty North survived it. And, you want to talk about battle-tested. They're battle-tested. Ray-Pac has the arms. So you got arms, you always got a chance for sure. So, that will be a fun game to take in for sure.
Because you're seeing that throughout the summer. You're seeing a lot of these kids that you deal with coming out of these high schools. So you're familiar with offensively what it takes to get this high school team, and especially when you're seeing that many arms.
The difference is when you see a lineup 1 through 9 or 1 through 10, because a lot of times in the summer you hit 10 because you have so many guys. It's hard to go through a lineup of 9 D1 dudes. That's a different story. But 9, 10 guys that are going to play high-level college baseball or college baseball in general when you get to high school. So if you get in a 1-game spot and you're, let's say, we'll stick with this Raymore Liberty North game. Raymore's going to need every arm on deck for this, because if you go through one time and say you get through 2-3 innings, as soon as there's trouble or you start to see them barreling up, you've got to have somebody already ready to rock. It's the same in the summer. If I go to the first inning, they go 1, 2, 3, but they hit 3 balls 95 miles an hour right at somebody, I got some dude getting ready. Because next inning, if they hit 3 balls 95, they're probably not all going to go right to somebody. So,
Right.
But then you got a whole lineup like that, which is why I'm high on having a staff and multiple arms, especially in a 1 game, which this is a 1 game for this district. So the difference with Liberty North is they can throw a D1 arm too.
Yes. Yeah.
But can their D1 arm go 4 or 5 innings, followed by another probably D1 arm? I don't know who they're going to throw, but that's the kicker, especially because there's no time limit on these. So
makes a big difference.
I mean, look at Tennessee, the college. They're bringing in a kid throwing 107 or however hard he throws in the 6th inning.
Right.
Sometimes he brought him in the 4th or the 5th against Mizzou when Mizzou played him, because that's where they thought the bridge of the game was, because they're down 1, tough situation. We can't get down anymore. I think we're going to score 4 more runs. Give me an inning. Give me 2. Shut the door. Well, then Tennessee put it like 10 up after that. But the point is,
yeah,
that's how Milbrandt was used last year.
right.
And it worked.
Right.
They brought him in situations where they couldn't give up any more runs.
So, okay. And
which is why the Blue Springs South game, if you take Lepore, say you start Lepore,
right,
and just ride him out, and he gets in trouble in the 4th, you got another D1 dude that you can bring in to say stop. Or you keep Lepore and bring him in to be the stop guy. It's like the Zumwalt East game that we had against Zumwalt South, where we said, hey, you're still at a point of 4-0, 3-0, 2-0. Can you limit the damage, keep yourself in the game, and then regroup and score some runs? They didn't have another guy to bring in that game per se, but it's a mid-season game, to be the stop guy.
Right. Behind Carter Cox. And I think that was evident even because I was at the South Francis Howell semifinal. Cox got into trouble there. I mean, a little bit bigger offense too. Got into some trouble. There wasn't that person. By the time Coach went and got him, it was done.
Well, yeah, in a summer team, you could have 4 stop guys.
Yeah.
But this is in high school. I mean, you're right, Kevin? I mean, you could have legit. But
you better.
Yeah, but you need them
Right.
because you're having 4 days in a row of a D1 on all D1 lineup.
Because this is going to be a matchup here, and
This is a really fun matchup.
yeah, because and then if Liberty does, move on there, then you have the Howell Central. We were talking about that. The depth in the pitching staff, Howell's offense, as you say, probably isn't to that, as you say, Liberty North. But we were talking to Coach, and he was talking about how the bottom of his lineup is starting to come around. Where do you go with that?
And I really like the Francis Howell lineup. It's why I picked him in the district to ultimately get past Zumwalt West, honestly. And I think Matt was on the same page there
He wasn't,
in the district
but we were.
as well. I think Liberty North and CBC have slightly deeper lineups than Francis Howell, but Francis Howell would be in the top 4 in terms of quality lineups across the state, in my opinion. So they got a really strong offense. That Francis Tony's group, Coach Perkins' group, is a formidable offense for sure.
And he's got 3 guys, Naputi, Rouser, Brackensyke, that he can throw out in one game too.
And then, as Kevin, we were talking before, and we talked with Coach earlier. You were talking about the depth. He's got guys with 10 to 20 innings that he has used throughout the year that have been guys that have come in and stopped bleeding, correct?
Yes. Now, on the way it's set up, you really need those guys in district play. But on Saturday, you're probably only going to see the number 1, the number 2, and possibly the number 3. And if you get beyond that, you're probably in big trouble. So on Saturday, with everyone rested, because they got a full week to prepare, the pitch count stuff's going to be thrown out the window. Everyone will be ready to pitch. So you're going to see the 1, and then maybe the 2, and it maybe the 3rd guy if someone wants to play a matchup or something. But you're not going to get into the depth, I don't think.
No, and here's one of the crazy things. We haven't talked about this, but arguably their best pitcher is on the shelf.
Yeah, Norfolk.
They're certainly their most talented, yes.
Brett Norfleet, who's had an unbelievable offensive year, hasn't thrown a pitch. They haven't needed him in that respect. I don't see him doing that. He'd come off the labrum surgery. And, I mean, you think about that kid, if he would have had any kind of pitching thought process in that. And then here's the crazy thing. Oh, yeah, he'll be there next year along with Nabuti.
Right.
So Brett Norfleet's going to be an interesting athlete to follow over the next however many years into college. Kind of reminded me of my earlier coaching days. I was coaching the Texas Collegiate League, and a guy named Brandon Belt was a big-time pitcher at University of Texas. Went to San Jack, lefty that threw 92, 93, was having some arm stuff and kind of had some, and they started letting him hit. And, well, now he's been in the big leagues with the Giants for a very long time and is one of the top power bats, been very consistent. Norfleet's situation is kind of a little bit like that. I'm not saying he's going to have a big league career as a hitter, but, man, a year ago, I would have said, he's going to Mizzou as a pitcher and a tight end, obviously. Watch out. He's got real raw power. He's probably going to lead the state in homers. What an exciting talent to watch. It's going to be interesting to see this unfold over the next 5-6 years.
So Francis Howell Central.
Yes, sir.
This is probably the most fun game of all of them just because of the rivalry. And to add icing to the cake on this one, you've got some keyboard Twitter warriors talking trash online. And, man, get your popcorn, buddy, because this is epic to watch.
Oh, man.
And could you imagine the atmosphere with this game? So you have all week you're talking about two schools, Howell Central, that had close games in the regular season, and it doesn't matter how good one is or how bad one is each year. I mean, it's a rivalry game.
Exactly.
And Howell Central feels like they're the redheaded stepchild to Francis Howell. They do. Love it or hate it, they do. So they're going to have a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Howell, I think, has to withstand the first couple innings,
take the body blows.
Yeah, and then get into the game. And I think with how rowdy the crowd's going to be, which is going to be epic, trash talking, the chants back and forth. I mean, it's going to be fun. If Howell withstands the first couple innings and then gets in the game, I think that they can take the game over. But Howell Central is still that team all year. I've said they're gritty, they're grindy. They'll stay in games, and they're a team you don't want to play.
Yeah,
just because of that. But this is fun, and the keyboard warriors and the Twitter warriors have made it even more fun.
The only thing I would say, I love the chirping, I love the rivalry. Just don't make it personal.
It's great when you're not involved because you just get popcorn and sit there and read it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. That's not even a real account.
Yeah.
This guy's got like 2 friends, 2 followers.
Just don't make it personal, man.
Yeah. He's got a random photo of a cartoon. He's just some dude created an account. He's just stirring it up, laughing like we are.
Oh, man. So let's do this because we know next week we'll be back and these games will be played. Who you got in your Final Four here, Kevin?
I will take Lindbergh on the strength of Dane Bourne. advancing to the Final Four. I think this next game's the toughest to call, but I'm going to take Blue Springs South over Kickapoo. I like Francis Howell. Credit to Francis Howell Central. They've had a heck of a year. They've overachieved. They've done a great job. I don't see anyone picking Howell Central over Francis Howell in this one, but hopefully that fuels the Howell Central team. They're the underdog team. I think anyone that's objective would pick Francis Howell in this game, but Howell Central's found a way to do it all season long. So credit to them, and I look forward to that matchup. And then I will take obviously Liberty North to be your other team. I've been on record saying that I think they'll win the state championship. So those are my 4.
I'm going to go Lindbergh pitching. Blue Springs South Kickapoo. I'm going to go Blue Springs South, and I'm going to take the under on that one.
Smart. Take the under.
Howell and Howell Central. Straight bet.
You got the bookie back here.
Straight up, I'm going to take Howell. But if you're giving me points, I'm taking Howell Central. Right?
2.
If you give me 2 points, they're 2 run-runner games. If you give me points, I might take Howell Central. Just how many points you're giving me. Raymore, Liberty North. I'm going to take Liberty North and the over because I think the over-under is going to be low, so I'm going to take the over.
People are going to be like, what are these people doing? Is this DraftKings?
So, Mr. Producer, put that website up on the computer. Place your bets at. You just have to cross the state line. You got to go to Illinois, then you can put your bet in.
Oh, mercy. It's interesting because Lindbergh.
So I'm picking the exact same thing as he did.
Lindbergh has been up and down. Yes, they have the talent. I'm going to take Marquette. I'm going to go Marquette. I'm gonna stick there because I think it's interesting. I don't know anything about these teams in that respect. I really don't. So but Marquette came through that. Lindbergh has been up and down. I'm gonna throw Marquette out there and see if they roll through. Just a hunch. And Blue Springs, of course, I picked Blue Springs South over there, so I'm sticking with them over Kickapoo. I like what I saw. It's the visual test. I saw them play. I just don't think Howell Central has enough to get past the offensive Howell. If Zumwalt West couldn't do it, and that's why I picked Zumwalt West is because of the pitching, then I don't see Howell Central doing that. I just don't. Now Rubel pitched a gem against them in that one, and Norfleet hit the bomb to win it. He's going to need that again, and we'll see. We'll just have to see. That's going to be pretty tough to match up. Of course, Liberty North, I'm going to stick with Kevin. I trust his judgment in that. Because, I haven't seen either team, so there you go.
You want the over or under on that last one?
I'll take the over on that one. I think I'm going to go with you. I think that's a good play.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It's good. Guys, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on Class 5 going into that. I'm going to take Lutheran South, Willard in that top part of the bracket. I'm going with my boys, the Lions from East, and Webb City coming into that bottom bracket.
I'll go South, Willard, Parkway Central, Webb City.
I'm going to go shout out to my Jeffco time as a coach. So I'm going to take Festus. I will take Willard. I think the best game is going to be the Parkway Central Zumwalt East, but I've just had a thing for the Parkway Central team. I'm going to stick with them, but that's a coin toss game. And then I will take Platte County.
Ooh. I love that. That's cool. That's fun. We'll see. We got some good baseball coming up this weekend. Be a lot of fun. I love this part of the year. I really enjoy this. And just to shout out, even because my mom watches the show all the time, she loves you guys.
Somebody has to, right? Might as well be your mom.
So, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. I do.
Does she love you?
Of course she
Okay,
does.
well, at least
My mom.
that's out of the way.
Yeah.
Matt's is her favorite, though.
Yeah. She loves you because she has to, but I'm definitely her favorite.
Whatever works, right? Whatever works. But I appreciate you guys. Great information, guys. And this is why I really enjoy that we're starting this. I love the thought process and what you guys bring to the table here, talking about these high school teams, and that we can grow. We're going our second year doing this like this. Hopefully we can just even get better and better. We hope you folks are enjoying this. Please comment below.
Our picks haven't gotten better.
No, but Kevin's are fine.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's got one wrong yet.
I don't think he has he?
I missed Liberty.
Yeah,
that's right.
I called Liberty over Liberty
right.
North. Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
7 lashings for you.
It's horrible.
PBR is going to call.
Yeah. What's going on? We got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, hey, guys, thanks again. Everybody enjoy the week. Get out. Buy your ticket. If wherever you're at, get your tickets. Go out and watch. Support your team. Support this. There's a lot of great baseball going to be played this weekend. And so do that. Go out and watch. Support them. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters,
hit them where they ain't.
good advice, especially this weekend. We'll see you next time.
Great advice.